From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordeau, and this is your News 8 Daily for Tuesday, December 30th, the final Tuesday of the year. It is starting out today. Some flurries out there. We're going to be cloudy, light morning snow, mostly cloudy this afternoon. The thing is, it's cold. High today, going to be around 28 degrees, so bundle up. IMPD is urging you to not fire guns into the air when the clock strikes midnight on the new year. It is illegal, and officers warn even small bullets could cause serious or deadly injuries. If you do fire a gun, IMPD says you could face criminal recklessness charges and a fine of up to $10,000. Now, as families gather heading into the new year, police are pushing awareness about domestic violence. According to IMPD, they receive more calls for domestic violence this time of year. They say factors like financial pressure, alcohol, stress can collide behind closed doors. Officers say these cases are tough on everyone, and they encourage victims and witnesses to get help.
It is hard for victims, right? They're often in some type of situation. Maybe they need the financial means of the aggressor. There's children involved. It's a long-standing relationship. There could be a lot of different situations, and it's hard for a victim to leave that situation.
You can find a list of resources for domestic violence on our website. Just go to wishtv.com and head to the As Seen On section, and you can find this story there. Affordable Care Act health subsidies are set to expire tomorrow, but a health insurance navigator says those changes should not discourage people from applying for coverage. News 8 government reporter Garrett Berquist explains why.
The subsidy changes have complicated matters for Susan Jo Thomas's team at Covering Kids and Families. Her nonprofit helps people navigate health insurance plans.
It's been very alarming because there was no resolution. And I'm afraid that the fear that was instilled in people because of the rumor, I guess, that we weren't going to have an extended, enhanced subsidies available, drove people away from even shopping.
People who buy health insurance through healthcare.gov usually receive a tax credit that lowers their monthly premiums. Congress expanded eligibility for those premiums during the pandemic. The cutoff normally would be people making $130,000 per year for a family of 4. Data from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services shows nearly 360,000 Hoosiers enrolled through healthcare.gov during open enrollment last year. That compares to fewer than 190,000 during open enrollment in late 2019. Those expanded subsidies expire when the year ends on Wednesday.
Not signing up at all should not be the go-to.
Thomas says you can still get subsidies, just not the expanded ones. She says you should visit healthcare.gov and enter your income information.
So you may not be able to get quite the same level or the metal color that you're used to if you're used to having a silver or actually even a gold plan. But there are bronze plans that are very good that can, once a family looks at the plan, they can figure out if this is going to fit what they need or not.
Thomas says you should also check if you're eligible for Medicare or Medicaid. She says no two families face the same insurance situation.
Don't rely on rumors or on what other people are telling you has happened in their situation, because your family may be completely different and you wouldn't know it.
Thomas says it's too late to apply for coverage for January, but you can still apply to get insured beginning in February. That deadline is January 15th. I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
We are just 2 days away from IU taking on Alabama in the Rose Bowl. Team landed in California yesterday ahead of the big game. Sports director Anthony Calhoun is in California and tells us how the Hoosiers are gearing up for this incredibly huge game on New Year's Day.
We are just literally outside the IU football team hotel located here in downtown LA as the Hoosiers get ready for this game coming up just 2 days away. Wish TV, we were here last night when the team arrived to their team hotel on Monday night. Of course, so many high expectations for Curt Cignetti and his football team after what they accomplished this year, winning the Big Ten, as we mentioned, the #1 overall seed in the college football playoffs. playoffs. And, of course, they had the Heisman winner this year in Fernando Mendoza. The Hoosiers are ready to perform on Thursday night against Alabama, and there's no doubt this team is very grateful to have this opportunity to play in the Rose Bowl.
Obviously a very special opportunity, an opportunity you kind of dream of as youth football players and just as a kid in general watching college football. It's special for my family and all of my loved ones. I get to fly out here and watch us and be a part of the whole atmosphere. But, you take it in, you appreciate the moment for a brief second, and then, it's game time, and then it's football at the end of the day. Like I've said, we've been playing this game since 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. It really doesn't change. Sure, the moment may be a little bigger, the scene may be a little bigger, but it's football at the end of the day.
It feels like any other game. Obviously the time is a little weird, being here earlier. But we know, this game means a lot to a lot of people. The history and the significance of it is, unmatched. So, everyone's excited. We're eager to get out there. But we have a lot more preparation to be done, so just trying to take it day by day.
So the Hoosiers, they're excited to be here in Southern California getting ready for the Rose Bowl. We can tell you this, they're going to have Media Day coming up later today here in Los Angeles, and then after that they'll practice here as well. Then it comes to Wednesday, they'll have another walkthrough with the team, and then it all comes down to Thursday, 4 o'clock Indy time, kickoff between IU and Alabama. The winner moving on to the semifinals of the college football playoffs down in Atlanta. There is no doubt it is going to be a great matchup coming up on Thursday. And, of course, Wish TV will be there every step of the way. We got much more on the Hoosiers here in the Rose Bowl. More live coverage coming your way later today on News 8 at 5 and at 6. Anthony Calhoun, Wish TV, and WishTV.com.
Wish TV is giving you all access to the Rose Bowl and the undefeated Hoosiers and IU's quest for a national championship. We have all the stories all morning long here on Daybreak from sports director Anthony Calhoun and our sports team in Pasadena. Now, the IU marching band is scheduled to fly out of Indianapolis this morning and head to Pasadena for the halftime performance. News 8's Gina Galero spoke to the band about this ride of a lifetime.
Pictures from this year's Big Ten championship speak for themselves.
The clock hit 0, and from that moment, I just started crying. I was just so overwhelmed with joy. It's like a dream come true, you know what I mean? This is something that we haven't done in so long.
1968 was the last time Indiana University and its marching band, Indiana University Marching 100, have been to the Rose Bowl. Back then, women weren't in the band.
That has been, I feel, a big part of why we're going to the Rose Bowl, right? It's because of Signetti, and it's because of our fans and our awesome football team.
Rosa Maria McMahon is the first female IU drum major to ever go.
I'm just taking it all in, living in the moment, and I'm so excited to go to Pasadena and live in history.
Something that's always stuck with me is when I was growing up twirling, one of my teammates said to me, she said, you can either be nervous or you can be grateful, but you can't be both. So what I'm going to choose is I'm going to choose the gratitude all the way, especially being a senior. I'm just going to soak in every second.
McMahon and baton twirler Sydney Butts helped lead the 300-person band.
The role of the baton twirler was a role that had not been filled previously for 30 years before I joined. So I like to joke that I was just persistent enough.
Rehearsals for the big stage began the day after Christmas.
It warms my heart. During our outside rehearsal, there were people showing up to our parade rehearsal and cheering us on and watching the band. And it's been getting that sort of support from the community has been awesome. Absolutely awesome.
No matter what the scoreboard says, these students say they've already won.
Whatever happens, rain or shine, we're going to be ready to go.
Because they're a part of history in the making.
It's really just so crazy, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I'm just here at the perfect time.
I'm Gina Galeros for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
It was another miserable night for the Pacers as they lost to the Rockets 126-119, and Rick Carlisle is still trying to get 1,000 wins. A rough second and third quarter for the Pacers was once again the issue. They battled back and forth, but it was just too late. The Pacers' 27th loss for the season. They host the Magic tomorrow for a New Year's Eve game. Tip-off is at 3 in the afternoon. Notre Dame head football coach Marcus Freeman is staying in South Bend. He made that announcement on social media yesterday, saying 2026, run it back, go Irish. Several NFL teams were trying and interested in Freeman, including the New York Giants. Sports Illustrated, though, is reporting that Freeman has agreed to a newly restructured contract and that it has a top-tier coach's salary. Next season will be Freeman's 5th with the Fighting Irish. This season, Notre Dame went 10-2 but missed the playoffs. National Weather Service confirms that a tornado touched down in Linton on Sunday night. We have video. We showed it to you on Daybreak yesterday. In it, you can see trees blowing and a power line explode. Plenty of damage, too. We have videos of a building that collapsed in downtown Linton. Meteorologist Marcus Bailey explains just how strong the tornado was.
On the weaker scale of things, it's an EF1, so I mean, it goes from 0 to 5. But I think what's also obviously what stands out at you is how late in the season this was. And I know it's like, we're almost done with the year. This has been one of the more active tornado years we've had in a while. So this just tacks on another number here. But there's your rating, EF1. This is the path here. And yeah, I mean, there's downtown Linton right there, kind of rolled on the south end of town there, had max winds up to 100 miles per hour, was on the ground for only about 2 minutes here, about 7:18 Sunday night, and just on the ground for a little over a mile, all right? So that now brings the total for the entire year to 60. We usually average from across the state in the upper 20s in terms of numbers of tornadoes, so obviously a very active severe weather season. It was also, and this should say Sunday, the second latest date for any year for a tornado in Indiana. The latest actually wasn't that long ago. It was in 2018, but it was way down south along the Ohio River on December 31st, New Year's Eve. Around the metro area, we had a couple of tornadoes 2 days before Christmas about 10 years ago in 2015, one in Greenwood, also one in Noblesville. Both of those were also sitting at EF1s. So doesn't happen very often.
President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu are discussing the next phase of the Gaza ceasefire plan. The two met yesterday and talked about implementing phase 2. Netanyahu says he will only withdraw Israeli troops from Gaza after Hamas is completely disarmed. Two also discussed Iran's missile programs and the possibility of further strikes.
Now I hear that Iran is trying to build up again, and if they are, we're going to have to knock them down. We'll knock them down. We'll knock the hell out of them, but hopefully that's not happening.
President Trump also received Israel's highest civilian award for peace for his contribution to peace efforts in Gaza. The U.S. military has conducted a strike against a suspected drug smuggling boat in the Eastern Pacific, killing 2 people. This marks the 30th strike in Operation Southern Spear, the president's campaign against suspected narco-terrorists operating in or around Venezuela. It comes as President Trump appears to confirm that the CIA launched a drone strike on a Venezuelan port during a press conference after his meeting with Israeli Prime Minister.
There was a major explosion in the dock area where they load the boats up with drugs. They load the boats up with drugs. So we hit all the boats, and now we hit the area. It's the implementation area. That's where they implement, and that is no longer around.
President Trump also received Israel's highest civilian award for peace for his contribution to ending the war in Gaza. This has been your News 8 Daily from Wish TV. I'm Hannah Mordeau. Watch us on Wish TV and WishTV.com.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at WishTV.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.